this is another Dimash fan comment. It's a long one, as you can see, but I'd like to read it because, yeah, interesting to see what people feel they have the right to say. Orange was ejected. 8308. This was the first time ever he sang in English. He learned the song phonetically in 5 days, then went out there in front of billions of viewers and slayed it. It's a phenomenal achievement. I think it's a great achievement as well. This was 4 years ago, and his English is now getting to fluent and is totally understandable. That's great. I'm very happy to hear that. Lastly, like a quarter through the comment. Lastly, he's got to wow the audience to progress in the competition. I get that. I understood from many comments that that's how this show works, which I didn't know before. You chopped the song by stopping so often you couldn't feel its power. That's actually not true, because I did listen to the whole thing multiple times and I felt what I felt based on what I saw. I think your criticisms are odd. Why would you make a song less interesting in a competition? I agree. I do many competition analysis and people have 2 minutes or 3 minutes sometimes to make something interesting. So the Chinese love the high singing as a culture, and Dimash knew that. Of course, he's going to utilize his unique skill set. I agree, and that was a great idea from Dimash. I think you are guilty of viewing the whole presentation through a narrow European lens of what is and is not acceptable. I don't agree. I just said the English pronunciation is not on par. It's clear you also know your views are going to be unpopular and are relishing that. That is untrue. You don't know me, so that is a false statement. You said he didn't pull off the song and that it was over the top dramatic. I do still think so, even though that's what that show requires. You are the first person I've ever heard say that, and Brian May himself disagrees with you. Freddie never held back with the drama. That's true. It's obvious that Dimash cannot be everyone's cup of tea. He is my cup of tea, vocally. He's brilliant. However, there is a distinction between personal preference and technical achievement that a reviewer should be able to make. I think I did make that distinction pretty well. The technical achievement I talked about a lot. You come across as wanting to shut off the parts that you judge to be too feminine, as if they make you uncomfortable. Maybe consider if you have a subconscious bias at play. No, Orange was ejected. I have no bias. I saw nothing feminine. There was nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe you have a subconscious bias. I don't know. Lastly, your last comment about listening more intelligently is so patronizing. Hardcore vocal coaches the world over rave about the technical skill, the creativity, the dedication, and his astonishing ability to hit you in the feels. I agree with hardcore vocal coaches because that's what I said as well. These things are all part of what makes a performance great. I agree. You dissected it so much it died. That's your opinion. Dimash's fan base are not a bunch of screaming teenagers getting carried away. They are a full cross-section of age, gender, nationality, culture, intelligence, and musical acuity. And you know this how? I'm just wondering. How do you know all those things? He has a global following which includes highly skilled voice analysts, most of whom would disagree with your analysis. That's fine. In short, your review is one-dimensional, self-opinionated, and of dubious value. And I would be surprised if your entire comment section is filled with similarly dismayed dears. So yeah, at least Orange was ejected. Sorry, I struggle to read that every time. wrote in beautiful full sentences, good grammar, and good choice of words. But yeah, not all of it. Most of it is not really founded. This comment really touched me so much because it was my very first reaction video that I ever did on Willie Spence exactly 2 years ago. Willie Spence, you might know, was second in American Idol 2 seasons ago, and he tragically died a few months ago in a car accident. But he sang Glory by All of Me, what's his name? John Legend! And I did it, my first reaction video, and then it got such a great response from viewers all over the world, especially the States, obviously. But then I saw this comment from Willie Spence's sister, Kendra Spence, 3655. And she wrote, "So proud of my little brother. His personality comes through his vocals. He is a true artist." And that was so great. I love getting comments from family or friends or from the artists themselves, which I have a number of times, because it just can give a perspective on that person that I couldn't have because I don't know them, like the person who makes the comments. So really appreciated that, Kendra Spence. Thank you so much. This comment, I can't remember which video it was on, but it's from Sonic49, and they wrote, "Really enjoyed your reaction. It's super insightful from both a technical and performance point of view. I hope you do more of these." Thank you. I really appreciate that. That is my goal, for it to be helpful, insightful, from a technical and performance point of view. I will talk about stagecraft. I will talk about facial expression, how people use their bodies, what people wear, because those things are all important, right? To me and you as a listener. I always say people hear what they see. So even when a singer comes out and the lights come on, people start to feel something based on what they see. So thank you very much for that comment, Sonic49. I appreciate it. This comment was also on the Willie Spence analysis video. It's from Lukrak Farsh, and they said, "Big voice, wow. Loved your insight on his performance. Not just the voice, but little things like whether to sing standing up or not. Us mere mortals don't think about stuff like that." I really appreciate that. Thank you, Lukrak Farsh, for your comments. And yeah, again, I try to talk about things like the mic stand and holding the mic versus putting the mic on a stand. And when you take the mic off the stand, where do you put the stand? And I feel like I said stand many times, but talk about things that performers do well and things that they maybe could do even better. That's my job. That's what I do. This was a lovely comment from SamoanSoprano. And I can't remember which video this was on, but she said, "Enjoyed your video. You're a good coach." Thank you. I appreciate that, especially since you are a singer. If you're a soprano, good tips, not just about the voice, but even the way we use mic stands and movements can make a difference to our performance. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, SamoanSoprano. I appreciate that, and that links with the previous comment, obviously, but I really appreciate that. Now, this comment really blew me away. During the hard lockdowns, I made a video, a Voice Matters video, called "Living with Purpose, even when everything else seems," I can't remember what the title was, "out of control" or whatever. And I just talked about, actually not music or songs, but just about life. And those kinds of videos of mine typically doesn't get a lot of views. So this one, I think, maybe got 160 or 180 views or something. And then every now and again, I sit and I look back at older videos and I look at the comments and I try to reply and respond to some comments. And then I came across this incredible comment from Peggy Ann 2450. She wrote, "Thank you. I'm coming through long recovery from an accident. Isolated, unable to get up yet." So when I read that, I really felt that. It really hit me because people go through stuff. And that was why I made that video. Then she wrote, I haven't seen a soul but doctors only and one nurse, and rarely. So this has really been a tough season for her. As an extrovert, now unable to or too overwhelmed to connect with friends at all. So I really sympathize with Peggy Ann, and I hope she's doing really well. I'd love to hear from you if you see this video. Then she writes, "You have given me back the desire to remember who I am and to work my way back to me." That is incredible. If Peggy Ann was the only person I ever reached in some small way, then I'm satisfied with my life and with what I do. Honestly, this meant so much to me. "You are someone I have seen and watched reviewing or reacting to various singers. I like your takes on those. Thank you. But never expected this. Great video, inspiring, but practical as well. Not something out of reach. Thank you, and best sincere thought for you and yours." Oh my gosh, really warms my heart. Really grateful. This was a really powerful moment for me when I read this comment. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. And the last comment I'm going to talk about today is another comment that somebody made on my EM Tongi analysis. This is from Elaine Horwitz, and she wrote, "EM is only 18 years old. I know. He recently lost his dad, the person that encouraged him to get into music and who sang along with him many, many times. I know that as well. And if you listen to everything I said, this is for everybody, not just for Elaine. If people listen to everything I say in a video, they won't be so quick to jump on to a bandwagon and just keep going on about one thing I said. I'm just saying, listen to everything someone says. Don't make up your opinion about one thing that you didn't agree with. I know all these things, and I spoke about these things. James Blunt wrote this song for his own father who was dying from kidney disease, and a relative heard the song and donated a kidney to James's dad. Thus a life saved. I know that as well. I know the song's history. I'm a huge fan of James Blunt. I'm a huge fan of the song, which I also said in my video. Trying to sing while crying is close to impossible. I know that because I often get very emotional when I perform, and you have to learn, you have to try and just learn how to deal with that. But yeah, I know it's impossible. I can't think of another song that is as emotional as Monsters. Agreed? Well, I can think of others, but that was a very emotional song. James changed the wording to help EM. The line, "You can feel my hand on your arm," is actually supposed to be, "You can feel my hand on your own." Yeah, I've heard that as well in other comments. There is so much to love in this duet. Agreed. James tries to be a rock and EM is heartbroken. Glad that you learned to overcome your emotions when you sing. Oh, EM is 18, a teenager for gosh sakes. He's perfectly imperfect. By the way, you have mentioned EM's weight in a passing way in several videos. Let me first comment on that. Yeah, I have learned. Like I said, when you go up on a stage, you have a job to do. And if you get emotional, then you have to learn to deal with it so that you can complete your job. But I wasn't critical. I just said that because that's part of something you as a performer need to learn to do. I know he's 18 and he's a teenager. I didn't criticize that. And I agree he's perfectly imperfect. Everything I love about EM is because he's just the way he is. So yeah, that's not really a valid comment, I think. And then, by the way, you have mentioned EM's weight in a passing way in several videos. It must really bother you. That's not what you should be critiquing, in my opinion. I have spoken about his large frame, yes, once or twice. And the reason is also Willie Spence. He was also a really big guy, and I also talked about it then. I'm talking about that out of concern, actually. So don't criticize me if you don't know me. I care about people, and I'm concerned that if somebody is not looking after their health, then they might fall ill. They might not be able to have the long career that they should have. So that's the only reason I mentioned that. Sorry if that offended people. I didn't mean it in any offensive kind of way. But yeah, Elaine, thanks for your comments. I must say, I do enjoy the fact that people feel that they can say what they want to say. I mean, your opinion is your opinion. But if you don't like the kind of opinions and the kind of analysis and the way that I analyze singers, then sorry, but then don't watch it. Some people are just nasty and just, unfair and unkind. But anyway, I just wanted to check out a few comments from various kinds of people. And in the end, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for telling me how you feel. Thank you for your feedback. So yeah, I just wanted to share a few comments with you. Thanks so much for watching today. Please leave a comment. Before you go, let me just tell you about a brand new podcast that we have out on Spotify. It's called Voice Matters with Johan Bester. And then also a reminder of our Patreon community, which I'm inviting you to please consider to join. The links to both those things are in the description below.